Are you a business looking for a fresh new way to reach potential customers? Well, you need to get airtime on IT TV, a 24/7 streaming and on-demand TV service online and on Roku. With Roku having a potential reach of 62 million people, it's a perfect opportunity to reach potential customers through affordable commercial and infomercial spots. Visit us online today at itnetwork.tv.
Good morning. Thursday is Sharifah Hardie, your host of the phenomenal Roundtable Talk Show. At least according to me, but what do I know? But I know it's one of the most interesting, rare shows out there. You definitely want to go ahead and share this show with your friends because they may learn something. They won't have this information unless you go ahead and share the show with them. So send that text, send that tweet, make that post, whatever you need to do, but let your friends know the Roundtable Talk Show is live. And while you're introducing the Roundtable Talk Show to your friends, I'm going to go ahead and introduce my very first guest, Ali and Lauren Colbert. They are a married couple of certified laughter yoga teachers. Yes, LOL, laughter. You read that right. They are laugh yogis. They are laughter professionals. Good morning to the Colbert family. How are you?
We're well. Thanks for asking.
And good morning.
Good morning. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And what are you passionate about?
Okay, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Ali.
And we are the Laughing Love Bugs. We're a married couple, certified laughter yoga teachers. Many of you that are listening or here today maybe never heard of laughter yoga, but we want to let you know that this is a legit exercise routine that benefits your mental, emotional, and physical health at the same time. It is perhaps the only exercise routine that hits on all three areas of our health. And we have this company called Laughing Love Bugs, in which we provide laughter yoga sessions for workplaces, corporate organizations, couples, children. We hold laughter yoga sessions for people grieving a loss, celebrations, events, holidays, and so much more.
Team building.
Yeah, team building experiences. We hold laughter yoga sessions for whoever requires them. We believe that many adults, well, actually, we don't even believe it. Scientific studies show that adults typically do not laugh enough.
On average, adults laugh about 20 to 30 times a day on average, whereas children laugh about 300 to 400 times a day on average.
Wow. I laugh way too much. I think I'm at like 1,000 laughter a day because I have a good time. I think I do all of it between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every morning. Now, we are going to come back to you. I want to go ahead and introduce our next guest, Dr. Rowena Winkler. Through Journey to Consciousness LLC, Dr. Rowena Winkler uses her expertise in communication, coaching, and the healing arts to help women find their voice, to build their businesses, and live an authentically empowered life on their terms. Good morning, Dr. Rowena. How are you?
Good morning. I am doing well. I'm excited for a day of laughter today after that intro. And I'm just excited to be here. Yeah, so as you provided in my bio, I use my expertise in communication. I have 15 plus years of industry experience in communication and marketing, and I integrate it with what you'd like to call the woo-woo. So I'm a practicing astrologer. I have expertise in human design. I read tarot, and I use the right brain, left brain aspects to help my clients get unstuck and find what I like to call their inner muse, that voice inside of us. Homegirl just wants to come out so that we could be our authentic selves, we can be empowered, and we can show up and step into that soul purpose that we're all looking for on this journey to consciousness. So thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to an amazing conversation today.
Absolutely. We're going to be doing some yoga, doing some laughter, doing some meditation, all of it, all in one show. I am going to come back to you. I want to go ahead and introduce our next guest. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Hello. I am too blessed to be stressed. I'm too grateful to be
Amen.
hateful, and I'm too anointed to
love
be disappointed.
Oh, I love it. I'm gonna have to take all of that. Joe is an entrepreneur maker. He transforms employees into entrepreneurs and he transforms good entrepreneurs into great entrepreneurs. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And what are you passionate about?
You know, back in the day, I made $1 million. I have an electrical engineering background. I lost everything, and I've come back. And after some big failure, I went on an obsessive compulsive quest for the truth of what works in business. So instead of chasing the money, I started chasing the truth and the wisdom. And I've been on this journey for 25 years, and I've been helping entrepreneurs reinvent themselves since 1999. You know, we've heard that 9 out of 10 people fail in business, but not on my watch, okay? The school system does not teach us to succeed in business. If they did, 9 out of 10 businesses would succeed. And so I do one-on-one mentoring with people. I have a group coaching program, and I have a new program that's specifically designed to help people figure out what's the right business for you. It's called Business Wisdom Quest. It's the quest for you. In business, I think it's really important for each of us to find our individual North Star. What is our calling? What is your one thing? And if you choose, one of the biggest reasons people fail in business is they choose the wrong business. So let's make sure you get that first. So you don't have to be one of those serial entrepreneurs bouncing from business to business, but you can figure out what your one thing is. Multiple streams of income, that mentality comes from scarcity thinking. If your one thing is abundant, you wouldn't be chasing 2, 3, and 4.
Amen. We have to change that. We're going to help people change that today. I'm going to come back to you, Joe. I want to go ahead and introduce our next guest, dear Dr. Shadi. I love him. He's amazing. You've seen him on the Roundtable Talk Show at least 5 or 6 times. He's a regular here, and he's always so insightful. Dr. Shadi is the CEO and Chief Medical Officer of Vet Triage, a 24/7 veterinary telehealth service for pet owners of any species globally. Good morning, Dr. Shadi. Welcome back.
Good morning. Thank you. You're too kind. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a board certified veterinary surgeon, graduated from Cornell in 2006. And I've been through all the different facets of veterinary medicine. And towards the end of 2019, decided with my partner that we would launch this first ever 24/7 veterinarian only global telehealth company. And so since then, we've given pet parents a method by which they can go and instead of going to Dr. Google, which every medical person just can't stand, they can talk to an actual veterinarian who's experienced, compassionate, knowledgeable, and tell them what to do next with their pet. At the same side, we've also been helping veterinary clinics with their overbearing days where they have too many sick animals coming in, not enough staff. Combine that with COVID, combine that with a negative culture that's been brewing for decades. We actually have given plenty of doctors and nurses and receptionists time to rest by offloading their workload onto Vet Triage. So it's been an amazing turn of events in terms of trying to improve what the veterinary culture really needs. So it's been absolutely amazing.
Yes, and it's been amazing to be able to take part of this journey with you. I've been enjoying watching your growth. I am going to come back to you. I want to go ahead and introduce our next guest, Mr. King James. He's a screenplay writer, an experienced journalist, talk show host, and producer. In 2010, he gave up a regular lifestyle to spend 7 years of solitude in remote places he calls the wilderness. Good morning, King James. How are you?
Good morning, Lady Sharifah. I'm doing good. I'm doing
I
good.
like that. I received that.
Anytime you call me King James, I call you Lady Sharifah.
Thank you. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm here. I've been around. I've been into, like you read, journalism, the theater, the movies, banking, which wasn't in my bio. Then, in 2010, I had some life-changing experiences that made me to go into the wilderness. I spent 7 years, and during that time, I was able to communicate better with myself, the universe, and spirit. And then I came out with a program, which is in this book, that I call Soulfulness. And it's a program, it's a 21-day program that helps people to transform their lives. And it takes them beyond the mind. It takes you to the realm of soul, where you can operate consciously as soul. What does that look like? For instance, you can see the future, your own future. You can heal yourself. You can attract a loving mate to yourself. You can do so many wonderful things, and so many people have been using this program. This is 8 years now, and it's been benefiting them. So I hope to take it further.
We're going to take it further today. We're about to manifest it right now. Before we manifest it, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next guest. Our next guest is Tom. Tom is a leadership expert, an author, a strategic advisor, coach, educator, mentor, and speaker. Good morning, Tom. How are you?
Living the dream. Good morning. How are you?
I am wonderful. This Cali life, I am definitely living the dream. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Tom. Who are you? What do you do? And what are you passionate about?
Well, I think every individual should be able to answer these three questions for themselves. And let me answer them for myself, and that will kind of reveal a little bit about myself. The three questions are: who are you? What are you passionate about? And what are you good at? So who am I? I'm a servant leader. What am I passionate about? I'm passionate about making people better, companies better, products better. And what am I good at? I'm pretty good at mentoring and leading. So the beauty of that formula is if you lead your life with those three questions answered, you can lead a successful life. So many of us are not passionate about what we do. Maybe they just do it for a paycheck. Some people think they're good at something, but they're not really good at it. And some people just don't know who they are. So this way you don't have to reinvent yourself. It's the same thing where you're at work, whether you're at play, with your family. If you have a strong identity in those three questions, you'll be successful in life. So that's one of the reasons I wrote my book, C-Suite and Beyond, is, well, just to kind of give back to folks, add value to folks, make them better. And it's about principles on how to be successful.
Wonderful, wonderful. We are going to come back to you. Now we got to learn more about profits with Amy Rose Hendrick. She's America's profit building specialist. She saves entrepreneurs and financially savvy individuals time and money by increasing their bottom lines each and every year to live their dreams or to build wealth for future generations. Good morning, Amy. How are you?
I am well and blessed. And I work with entrepreneurs, and I work with those with appreciated assets. Perhaps you've got something that you want to sell, but you don't want to pay U.S. income taxes. I'm the person you need to call. I also work with business owners to build up their bottom line so they can live the life that they had planned on. I'm an author. You're going to find several books. Here's one of them, Small Business Ownership Mistakes. And I do have 11 titles that will be coming out after the first of the year, where I've updated as part of the Secret Profit series. The other thing I was blessed with earlier, first part of last year, Pack Faith First is another book that I have, and it was a #1 bestseller. And this talks about my life do-over in moving from the Midwest to the St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, where I reside now. So I bring to the table quite a few different things, but really I like to help people touch their dreams. And sometimes you need just a little bit of help to do that. And I can tell on the panel, we've got some of us that are thinking alike on working with entrepreneurs. So it's always a pleasure to be here. We're going to have a good time.
Amy Herrick, it's always a pleasure when you're here. I learned a lot from you the last time when you were on the show. So let me just throw the ball to you. Who stood out to you? What questions do you have so far for the people on the panel?
Oh, well, I was looking at Joe and wrote it down for he is an entrepreneur maker. He and I have some things that we can definitely talk about. And of course, Tom, when he's got his C-Suite and Beyond. So I'm looking at everybody on this panel has something unique. But I got to tell you, the laughing lug bugs, you got to tell me some tips, because I'd love to laugh about 1,000 times a day. That would be great. Yeah, so everybody there, I got something from.
We're so happy you asked that question. Thank you so much. What we share in Laughter Yoga is all about unconditional laughter. The reason why adults do not laugh as often as they should for the health benefits of it is because we typically wait for a reason to laugh. We wait for a sense of humor, level of satisfaction in life, or feeling happy to laugh. So those moments, especially during these challenging times that we are experiencing, those moments come far and few in between. So what we share in laughter yoga is that you can choose to laugh unconditionally. The laughter exercises we share are not based on jokes, humor, or comedy. You actually are choosing to laugh, which we all know how to do, but we just don't do it enough. You're probably wondering, that sounds strange, because how am I laughing without a reason or relying on a condition? The most interesting thing about laughter yoga and unconditional laughter is that
the body and the brain cannot differentiate between real or fake laughter.
yes.
Wow, I love it. Dr. Rowena, have you ever tried laughter yoga?
I have actually. I am actually a practicing yogi. I've been doing yoga for several years now, actually engaging in a 30-day yoga challenge that I do every New Year. So I also like to laugh. So I know that even when we force ourselves to laugh, we'll just have it reverberate throughout the space. So.
Joe, you look like you got some practice over there.
I'm an expert at laughing. You know, the most important thing is we're not laughing with you, okay?
We're not?
We're not laughing with you.
I guess
We're not laughing
At you.
at you.
I want you to know the most important thing is if you fall down on your butt, I will help you up after I finish laughing.
Joe says, I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing at you. And Tom over here.
I'm just not laughing with you. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, look, I think people take themselves too seriously. So if we could just all kind of lighten up, laugh at ourselves. Once we start laughing at ourselves, then we can laugh with others. But hey, just, don't take yourself that serious. Life is just too much fun, too short. Enjoy life.
Absolutely.
Yes, laughter provides a cleansed feeling after you do it, and it serves as an emotional relief.
Okay. I think the laughing box. Okay, I wanted to say something about the laughter, and there was something that laughing box mentioned, that children laugh more. Okay, and that brings to me what Jesus, said in the Bible. For those who know the Bible, that unless you become like a child, you cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven. And that kingdom of heaven is what I call soulfulness, okay, where you can be able to operate as your real self, okay, beyond societal limitations, okay, beyond even your personal limitations. So you can laugh, you can be happy, okay, just because you choose to, not because somebody says you should or you shouldn't. So that's my take. It's a beautiful thing to do.
Absolutely. I'm actually a new pandemic parent. I had my daughter in March 2020, literally right before the world shut down. And that's been an interesting process, just to see her through the eyes of my child experience the world and have me reflect on, goodness gracious, when we grow older and all of these experiences happen to us, we're conditioned to get serious, or to not let ourselves just be happy and just experience the world. And so being able to witness my daughter, for example, I mentioned I'm in the DMV area. We had snowfall here. Just her pouncing around in the snow, enjoying the snow. It was just so wonderful to see her just do it without caring, It's awesome. Yeah, can we be like that?
I'm an entrepreneur maker. One of the things that I really promote is not just about making money in business, but if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong, So if you're going to build a business, you might as well enjoy it. And I absolutely believe laughter and fun and enjoyment. So many people say, I got to go to work. They got this negative feeling, like, I got to go to work. It's like, let's have fun serving people, making money. And if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. If you're going to build a business, you might as well enjoy it. If you're going to have a life, you might as well enjoy it. Because, when you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you're out. When you're blue, you're through. Life is short, so you might as well enjoy it.
I kind of wanted to add to that. So, and kind of tied into the whole product building of all this. And I'm sure the the entrepreneurs here all know this type of thing, but I've noticed over my years of just going from a hospital to then running my own company, that if you tie your product or your service with an emotion, probably specifically or preferentially a positive emotion, I think the thing that resonates with folks, and they then want more of that product or that service. So I was thinking about this in this conversation as I was looking at the Love Bugs t-shirt. You guys have 4 chemical compounds on there that I presume relate somehow to the chemical pathways of laughter. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, or why you chose those chemicals. But it seems to me that the thing that really resonates with us when we watch a movie or read a book and it triggers some sort of emotional response, that's a very, very powerful stimulus to enjoy that product, recommend that product, purchase it again, go back to that service. So I don't know if the folks here agree, but it seems that if you can tie in your business concept with some sort of emotional tie-in, that's a very powerful reason for people to come back for more.
Yeah,
let's
great.
ask for.
If I can drop something here. A week ago, I was on a show and I was telling them that business is actually love. You know, this ties into what Joe says. You need to love what you do. If you don't, some people don't even love living. You know, you have to start from that. You must love to be alive. You know, so whatever it is that you call business, for instance, is the giving of love. When we package love, either we call it a product or a service, then people will appreciate it because it's going to make their life a little bit better, you know, by using that product. So if you're not happy with yourself, you cannot be able to, or you won't be able to package love or happiness for other people. So you have to start.
I love it. But I can tell you one thing right quick is that the Laughing Love Bugs have fun with or without anyone else. You were going to say something. I caught that a couple of people ago. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. We're really enjoying this conversation. And this is why Laughing Love Bugs is not only our business, it's our passion. We feel that it's so important for people to pay attention more to how you feel in every moment of the day. As we said earlier, adults are not laughing enough because we think we relate laughter to children. But one thing that we know for certain is that each and every one of us was a child at one time. We were carefree, free of responsibilities, and we laughed. Not because we were waiting for life to be perfect or for all our daily to-do tasks are crossed off the list. We laughed because we were playing. As adults, we don't play anymore. We don't have time to play. But
I make time to play, which is why I do the Roundtable Talk Show. Talk to me, Amy.
I was going to say, and some of what we're getting on too is the moment. I mean, I'm blessed. I live in the Virgin Islands, but I can tell you that I made sure that I made the moments during the day. If it was late in the day, I was out on my gallery and watching the sunset every day because some things change and we change residences, or just popping up over the hill and I can see the colors. It doesn't matter where I am. I'm always looking for a moment where you can find a little bit of joy or a little bit of beauty. I could be in an Airbnb when I was in Oklahoma for a short period of time and found some things in the backyard. And I think in addition to the laughter, sometimes it's taken the moment to find the joy and to find the beauty that's there, but you just don't notice it because you don't take a minute to go find it. And it changes your whole outlook in many ways because we do get too chained to the business or a desk or in the house or coming home from work, and you got to look for that other break.
Exactly. What this modality has taught us is that every moment is passing by. Every moment. So it's great to be present and be aware so you don't miss any of the things that are passing you by in life. And it's great to be fixed in a moment, in a mood of joy, happiness, and laughter.
Yes, and laughter empowers us to do that, to be present in the moment. You can't be engaging in laughter and thinking about what's happening next or tomorrow. You can't what we actually share is unconditional laughter, where you're choosing to laugh despite any external circumstances that are going on that may not feel so good, that you can choose to feel good with laughter.
And that's powerful because the laughter can be fake, but the benefits are always still real.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Love to hear from you, Tom.
Well, look, we're talking about in circles about kids and adults, and kids laugh more than adults. Why is that? Well, kids don't have a care in the world, right? Kids are free, they run around, they play, everything is provided for them, and then we become adults, and all of a sudden we're stressed because we have to pay our bills, we have a job and everything else. But we're all saying the same thing. Look, if you live your life without stress and you create an environment for yourself without stress, then you'll laugh more. Right? Because you kind of take it off yourself, whether it's Dr. King's formula to say, okay, I surrender everything to God. So God is my provider. He takes care of me. So I'm stress free, or whether you're living a fulfilling life where, you're the entrepreneur Joe is, and, is living your life just the way you want it and doing the things you want. Or whether you use my formula about, being passionate about something, being good at something and knowing who you are. I mean, whatever formula it is, you take the stress off yourself and you can laugh more.
Mm-hmm. It's not just about laughter. It's about fun. It's about enjoyment. I think too many people in business, I got to grind 24/7. Like, you know what? Quit treating business like a battleground and start treating it like a playground. And all of us, we should make little buttons that say, if I'm not having fun, my boss will fire me. Okay, I'm my own boss. If I'm not having fun, I have to fire myself. Okay.
Well, we volunteer you, Joe, as the official badge maker. Make the buttons for all of us, pass it around, and that will be great. This is a wonderful conversation. We do have to stop for a brief commercial break, and we will be right back.
You need jordansrooter.com. Get free estimates, 24-hour service, special discounts for seniors and veterans. That's jordansrooter.com. Have a home repair or some remodeling you need done? No problem. We can handle all that too. Give us a call today at 800-300-0358. At Jordan's Rooter, we take pride in our work and always make sure to get the job done right the first time. That's jordansrooter.com. We want to be your Mr. Fix-It.
Are you a business owner, CEO, entrepreneur, artist, musician, celebrity, or influencer interested in more exposure for your business? Schedule your one-on-one interview with Sharifah Hardie today. We handle everything for you. We video interview you, we professionally produce your interview, and we distribute your interview. We do the work so you can focus on putting your best foot forward. If you have been looking for more ways to get your product or service in front of more people, this is the opportunity for you. Schedule your one-on-one interview with Sharifah Hardie today.
Yes, I love it. This is the opportunity for you to get your business out there. Dr. Rowena, you have some thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just really enjoying this conversation because in addition to being a communication expert and professor, I also love theater. I'm a musical theater enthusiast. I perform in community theater shows. And a realization that I made, especially during this collective retreat of COVID-19, was that I am a multi-hyphenate. I don't just do one thing. I'm not just a mom. I'm not just an entrepreneur. I'm not just a woman or an adult trying to make it in this world. I have a lot of gifts and talents. And once I embraced that unapologetically and learned how to integrate and infuse everything that I can bring to the table to my clients, I feel so much better that I can show up as myself. I think Joe may have mentioned it or Tom mentioned it. I think for a long time, I was putting on these different masks and these different roles, trying to play act in these different environments. But once that all melted away and I was like, I'm just showing up as me, y'all, it ended up being amazing. And so one program that I have to help my clients do the same is called Unapologetic AF Astrology, because that's another piece that I tie in is I am an astrologer and I stopped worrying about what people thought about it, because it was a tool that helped me in my journey and has helped my clients do the same. So we look at all the different planets in our charts and see how we can step into our authentic selves and be awesome.
Absolutely.
The other thing that, I tell folks all the time is, look, don't over exaggerate failure. right? A lot of people are stressed because, okay, what if my business fails? What will happen? Well, guess what? If your business haven't failed, haven't tried. A lot of businesses fail. That's okay. Many people who are successful had 1, 2, 3, 4 businesses fail before they found, their right formula that made them successful. So don't stress yourself over failure. It's okay. One of the reasons I wrote the book is, look, learn from my mistakes.
It's not okay. Failure can be really freaking painful, okay? The class yell in the School of Hard Knocks is ouch, okay? When I failed big. I lost over 1.25 million, okay? That was painful AF, okay? So, little failures okay, but big failures, our job as entrepreneurs, everybody says, oh, entrepreneurship is risky. Our job as entrepreneurs is to minimize risk, to minimize failure. So we don't want to be too okay with failure, okay? If it happens, we do need to be resilient and bounce back, but we don't want to give it a big red badge of courage, like it's okay to fail. We want to actually be in it to win it, because if you're not in it to win it, so there's this balance between we do need to be resilient and bounce back from failure, and little failures are okay. But man, if we can prevent you from that painful ouch, let's prevent you from that painful ouch.
Well, Joe, let me ask you something. You failed big, but you're here having fun and enjoying life. So how bad was it?
It took me 17 years to rebound, Tom. It really. I am here, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful to God for having the grace. But I also ended up going into mental health and having bipolar issues that really hurt me. I'm better now. But the truth is look, it's character building and all that, but and it's very humbling. And humility is good, because humility is not about thinking less about yourself, but thinking more about others. If I could go back to my past self after that failure, I would recommend be the ideal loving parent to yourself that you never had, and be kind to yourself, because depression is anger turned inward. And I'm a smart guy. I'm not supposed to fail, and I was really angry at myself, and it was painful. It was brutal. So look, I'm here. I'm grateful for here. But if I could have prevented it, and the truth is my greatest lessons came through my failure. But let's stack the odds of success in your favor, because
yes, I agree. I understand what you're saying. Joe said, failure, but I want my money back. Let's hear from Dr. Shadi.
Yeah, I think you're both saying the same thing, or rather different positive attributes of the same thing. So I think Joe is saying, I'm not going to accept failure. We're going to do all that we can to not fail. Obviously, that's what we all want. But then Tom is saying, if and probably when failure does happen to whatever capacity that may be, well, then how are you going to manage that? How are you going to deal with that? And I think most of us would agree, well, you manage it by saying, what happened? What did I learn from it? So I don't have that happen again. So I think it's the same. I think we're saying the same thing. To deny that failure happens, obviously that's untrue. It's going to happen. If you're fortunate enough to where you can hit it big the first go around and not fail, fantastic. That's like nobody, So I think we're saying the same thing. We're trying to improve it regardless of what your point of view is on that.
Every master.
I have some things to say.
I'm gonna get you in there, King James. I want to hear from Amy. She's been waiting patiently. This is when the show gets good. I'm like tuned in. I need some popcorn. I need to start having popcorn for my show. Go ahead, Amy.
Well, hey, just a couple of things. When we talk about success and we talk about failure, I know with this table, I'm just curious, because we have got such a diverse group. I know that on January 9th, I will be an entrepreneur for 31 years. So I'm going to be curious about how many years that we've got represented around this table. But I know for most of us, we've had failures, but a failure is not always a total failure. It gives you a chance to change. It gives you a chance to have a learning experience, and you can build on that going forward. And in many cases, I see it as a chance to have a do-over. When I moved to the VI, that was a life do-over, but for a completely different reason. It had nothing to do with failure, but I had the courage and I had the faith to do that. So I'm just curious. I got 31 years, guys. How many years do some of you have around the table that's represented today?
We'll see. Let me hear from James.
Okay, let me start with an answer. I've been practicing soulfulness for 50 years right now. So I started when I was 6. And that is, I became aware of the fact that we have a body, we have emotions, we have the mind, but we are none of those things. Okay, we're not the body, we're not the emotions, we are not the mind. We are what some people call spirit or soul. Now, when we tie it into failure and success, the issue is this: who is setting the parameters? Okay, who put it in place that, look, if you don't make $1 million in a month or a year, you're a failure. Or if you don't build a big business to impress people, therefore you're a failure. Or if you don't get married at a particular age, you're a failure. Who sets those parameters? It's some other people. It's not you. So I'm trying to bring people back to the basics. You are soul. You must see. It's good to say, hey, we need to live in a society. All right. So we need to make compromises. Fine. But then you don't make compromises that will take away your happiness, that will take away your ability to laugh at yourself with yourself, and that will take away your ability to love yourself and be your true self. So we have to go back to that basics. Otherwise, we become very frustrated human beings. And if you're a frustrated human being, you cannot make anybody happy.
Amen. Amen. Dr. Rowena, what was your response?
So to answer Amy's question, I'm a little baby entrepreneur. I've been having aspirations to build my own business for several years now, but as I'm sure folks in the group can attest, fear, like scarcity mindset, imposter syndrome, right? Like, why me? But several things happened that changed my trajectory. First of all, speaking of tough things happening, my father passed away from cancer my first year as a professor. So losing someone that was so important to you really rocked my world. And then the birth of my daughter. I went through IVF to have her. That was a really emotionally charged experience. And so of those, the death of my father and the birth of my child, I was like, well, you don't know what's going to happen, so why not go for it? So it'll be 1 year in February. So that's the answer to Amy's question. But now I'm going to collect all of you as mentors to help me on this journey.
Love bucks. Your answer to Amy's question?
Yeah.
How long have you been entrepreneurs?
Oh.
Since 2018.
18, yes.
Yeah, so we're still pretty much
new.
We're pretty much babies still as well. And we're just so engaged in this conversation. It's so interesting when we think about failure and success. What we think is most important is not to absorb the emotions that do not serve your mental health. It's important to feel your emotions, but do not allow your emotions to own you. We own our emotions. We can actually choose our emotions. We can actually choose to laugh to ease into the next moment, because if we're experiencing stress, fear, anxiety, doubt in that moment is gonna pass, but the body never forgets that. And scientific studies show that stress develops over time into disease or illness. So it's important to release that.
And what I get from what was said is that millions of people do not start businesses. There are a few people that, not everyone is meant to start a business or has the confidence to start a business, but mitigating losses, you understand that when your business fails, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting back from the experiences that you left when your business failed. So you're not really starting from the ground up. You're taking off from the experiences that you had from your past business. So it propel you further because you've now learned lessons from what went wrong. So you can now work on you can avoid the pitfalls that you stepped in the first time.
I want to challenge something you just said. You said that some people are not meant to be in business or not meant to be entrepreneurs. I say that's a bunch of hooey. I believe children are born as geniuses and then conditioned into mediocrity. And when we teach our kids, go to school and get a good education and become someone else's servant, go to school, get an education and build somebody else's dream, we program our kids to fail at entrepreneurship because we teach them to serve someone else, okay? And I really believe that we all have this capacity. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to say something very bold here. I think we're all self-employed. If you've got a business, you got 100 customers, you lose one, you're self-employed with 99 customers. If you have a job, you're self-employed with one customer called your employer, and you give all your power to them. And if you're unemployed, you're self-employed with no customers. So we're all self-employed, and to not think so is really neglecting the self-reliance and the fact that you are the person that employs yourself, you the person in the mirror. You take what God gave you and you use it, whether it's in a job or it's in your own business. We're all self-employed.
Well, I don't think it's a. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to start pointing out that as adults, from being adults, that by the time we're conditioned, that most people come out of it not really feeling comfortable working for themselves.
Yeah,
so they
I wasn't always comfortable.
Shelter and working for someone. But when you first start up as a child, you're optimistic, you believe in yourself. But by the time you get to the age where you're able to strike out on your own, most people aren't really prepared because of conditioning and education. They feel more safe looking for someone to employ them rather than rely on their own selves. But
yes, let's hear with from Dr. Shadi.
Yeah, I'm not sure that love bugs we're saying meant to be entrepreneurs. Most people just don't do it. Despite when you say like meant to be entrepreneurs, it's more like their destiny or their purpose, which up to folks to decide. A lot of the factors everybody here is mentioning as far as what influences us to be entrepreneurs or not are all external factors. But also don't forget there are internal factors that would influence your propensity to do that. So we know that certain personality types fit the mold of being an entrepreneur. That's just where they gravitate to. Other personality types just don't fit that mold. There's no right or wrong with that. It's just a matter of how it is that you were inherently built, genetically speaking, right? So there's external factors like how we were brought up and your employers and your colleagues and whatever else, financial limitations, all the struggles, whatever else. But there's also internal factors that kind of help push us towards a propensity to do something. So not everybody's got the personality types, let's say, to fit the mold of what an entrepreneur is. You've got to be a diligent worker. You've got to be fairly open. You've got to be conscientious, right? You've got to work in a team manner, regardless of whether you're the only person or you've got a team that works behind you. So there's inherent internal factors that you're kind of given at the time of birth that will predicate whether or not you have the profile to fit an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, I have some things to say there. It's a very good thing that Dr. Shadi mentioned, and that is where I bring in soulfulness. Everybody has a plan, or everybody had a plan before we were born. Okay, when we are children, sometimes we still remember those things that you could call it destiny if you wish. But I like to avoid the word destiny because it gives an impression that this is rigid. Okay. So, but before we were born, okay, we chose a path for ourselves. So, but when we are born and we start going to school, we forget all of this. So how do we remember? And that is one of the things, soulfulness, that's my program, which is in the book, helps you to remember. Because like what Dr. Shadi says, not everybody, for instance, is meant to be a Mark Zuckerberg or a Bill Gates, okay? Some people just need to be by themselves. Go to the office and your good salary, take care of your family and you're good because you've chosen that path, that lifetime, okay, this lifetime. So we should not be imposing unnecessary burden or pressure on ourselves. So, but then how do we negotiate this? We need inner guidance. So that is where soulfulness comes in. Everything we've been talking about since goes back to the soul, the real person that is deciding, should I do business or should I not do business? What kind of business should I do? Or you get what I'm saying? So it goes back to the soul. So we need to place emphasis on soul, the real identity of the person, not the identity the society superimposes on you. So, but then we need to know how to do it. And that is what I've done in my book.
Not everybody's meant to be a Bill Gates, I agree. Not everybody's meant to be a billionaire, but this idea of self-reliance is a very virtuous thing. Self-reliance means I can wake up in the morning, I can go out into the world, and I can make money. And unfortunately, we've created an employer-reliant culture, or a government-reliant, or a charity-reliant, or a spouse-reliant, or a family-reliant culture. And so what I am is I'm a stand. If you're going to make, let's just say $50,000 a year, you could do it working for someone else and give your power away. Because the moment you become an employee, you give your power away. Somebody else tells you what you're worth. Somebody else tells you what you should get paid. And we don't want you to give away your power. You want to take back your power so that you can own your life. You can own your ability to produce income without blaming. I don't want to blame COVID. I don't want to blame my employer. I don't want to blame the government. If I blame anyone, it's going to be the person in the mirror. And that's what I'm going to stand for, is helping people take back charge of your life and not give your power away to others.
And I
Let me just
got a really good point there that goes through, and also going back to what you've already done, because every one of us has had a life path, and you have a tremendous amount of resources and knowledge and wisdom. You should be building on that your entire life. And I have always said that if you invest in yourself and in knowledge, that's something no one can take away from you without a brain injury. And if we go all the way back to kids, you learned how to say please and thank you. You learned how to tie your shoes. As you got older, you learned how to drive a car. You've learned skills. Maybe you went to school. You have artistic talents. But whatever skills that you have, those are not taken away from you. And you can sometimes put them away and call it in your tool chest. But most of the time, you're able to build upon those to be a success, whatever it is you choose to be. But I see a lot of people have a huge leap from W-2 to entrepreneur because they need help. You've got to have some help to be able to do the transition.
Let me just comment, if I could just add on to Dr. King's comment. He said earlier, he said, look, don't let the world define your failures or successes. You define them yourself. So look, there's nothing that says to be successful in life, you have to be an entrepreneur. You could be on a W-2. I mean, I spent from 1980 to 2005, working through corporate America or actually international corporations, where, I ended up leading a business, a CEO of a business, which is a $400 million business, right? I did really well. I was very successful working for other companies on a W-2, leading companies. There was nothing wrong with that. And then I said, okay, well, I want to come back to the States. I don't want to be in the international arena anymore. And I started 3 different businesses from 2005 to now. I've had 3 different businesses. So
no, there's a lot wrong. There's a lot wrong with being an employee. Let me tell you a true story. Once upon a time, I was working for a company, and I was working for a company selling Apple computers before they had Apple stores. And I was really good at it. I was busting quota, and it was a Friday night. And Friday afternoon, I got a call. My dad had a heart attack. It was 2:00 in the afternoon. My manager was on vacation, and I said, "Can I go visit with my father?" He said, "No, you have to work out your shift. We're shorthanded." And so I worked till 7, and at 7:00, I got permission to go visit my dad. Quitting time, and I did. And I came back on Monday morning. And my manager was back from vacation. She said, "Joe, where were you on Friday?" And I told her, and she said, and I go, "Why?" And she goes, "After you left, people came into the store with masks and weapons, and they stole all the computers, okay?" So I had nothing to do with it. So a month later, they called me into the office, and they terminated my employment, okay?
Wow, that's a horrible experience.
Let me finish the story because there's an important point. They fired me because the insurance company wouldn't pay the money unless they found a reason. And apparently there was a company policy that 2 people had to be at the store lockup. I talked to an attorney, do I have any rights? And the truth was, we have no rights as employees.
We are coming down to the last few minutes of the show, and what I love to do at the end of every show is just simply allow my guests the opportunity to speak directly to the audience, to everyone who is watching this show live, as well as everyone who is watching it in the archives, and let them know what you want them to take away from your appearance here today. And we'll start with you, Joe.
Yeah, when you have a job And if you don't have an employment contract, they can fire you for any reason or no reason at all. And if you want to actually have a career and build a career, you cannot put your career in somebody else's hands. And that's the biggest reason to be an entrepreneur and start your own business, so that nobody can fire you except yourself.
That's why I started mine. After 8 layoffs, I said, you know what, Sharifah, never, ever put all of your eggs in one basket. Thank you for that takeaway. Joe, Amy, what do you have for the people?
We all need somebody. And whether you are W-2 or you're an entrepreneur, you need somebody to help you propel yourself to whatever that next level is. And in looking around with the different professionals you have, seek help sooner rather than later. It's a whole lot easier journey.
Absolutely. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate you. Tom, what do you have for the people?
What I started with, be sure of who you are. Every person should define what their success will be, what it could be. I define it through the 4 keys of leadership success, which is your character, which is your vision, which is strategic growth, and having a great inner circle. So, just pick up a book, read it, and hopefully you'll be a better person after.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom. King James, what do you have?
Yeah, very simple. What I have is soulfulness. It's taken me 50 years to research, and it's a 21-day program that can help us negotiate this life. This life is like a jungle, and most times we're just trying to feel our way through, bungle our way through, but we need help, we need assistance, and that assistance comes from the soul. And within 21 days, you will definitely experience a life-transforming, life transformation, basically. So it's like spiritual alchemy that can transform your life from here to the next level. You become happier. You can laugh like a laughing bug says. You can love. You can become an entrepreneur. But you'll be happy. That's very, very important. You'll be happy.
So your message is just be happy. Let's go over here to the Laughing Love Bugs. What is your takeaway for the show?
Our takeaway is always to remember that you can choose to laugh. You don't have to wait on the moment to laugh. Laugh for the health of it, because stress kills. And you don't have to absorb every bit of stress that you experience. You can always choose to feel good with laughter, especially during those challenging times that you're guaranteed to experience. And even if the laughter is fake, you're still gonna reap those happy hormones of dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. The body and brain does not know the difference between real laughter and fake laughter.
And these are the same hormones that you feel when you fall in love.
Yes.
Dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin.
And endorphins. So definitely choose to laugh daily.
You guys look happy and in love. Definitely. Dr. Rowena.
Yeah, piggybacking off of the Laughing Love Bugs, just trying to move forward with intentionality and tapping into that inner child. I know as adults we're conditioned to choose otherwise, but doing that inner child work, I have an inner child meditation completely free on my website, rowenawinkler.com. So choose that intentionality and build community, as Amy said, build those resources, build that tool chest, that the community around you to support you on this journey, whether it is as an entrepreneur or finding a work environment that works for you.
Thank you, Dr. Rowena. Dr. Shadi, great show.
Thank you very much. I agree. Yeah. So we spent a lot of time talking about attributes of what entrepreneurs are like, and a lot of veterinarians in general tend to work themselves to the bone. And so I would say, work smarter, not harder to some degree. I've had veterinarians now that are partnered with Vet Triage that said in 19 years, they were finally able to have Thanksgiving off with their family because they partnered with Vet Triage. We took the workload off of them. So any clinics out there, any hospitals, whether you're in a remote area or a large 24/7 ER specialty hospital, reach out to me, vettriage.com. We'll be happy to take that burden off of you, give you a great quality of life, not just for the veterinarian and for the practice owner, but also for all of your staff who really need it. Thank you so much for your time today. This is an absolutely fantastic conversation.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Shadi. I always enjoy when you're here on the show. You okay over there, Joe?
Oh, he's muted.
I am too blessed to be stressed, and I appreciate this time, and thank you for having me.
I just wanted to make sure you're okay. I didn't want you to walk away and be mad at me.
No, I am a beacon of love.
Oh, I love it.
That's a good one. That's a beautiful one.
A beacon of love. You all are so amazing. I want to thank you for being guests on today's episode of the Roundtable Talk Show. And I especially want to thank everyone who tuned in to watch this show live, as well as everyone who is watching in the archives. I definitely appreciate your support. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you sharing. But you know, the most important thing to me is that you support our guests. Pick up a copy of their books, work with them, have a session, do some laughter yoga. I don't know if you're a pet owner, go take your pet to pet triage, but work with our guests. They were here this morning to help you, to share their stories, share their expertise, share their experience. So please support them. Now, reach out to them, send them a message. And when you do, please let them know Sharifah Hardie says hi. If you're interested in more ways that I can help your business, or maybe you want to be a guest on the Roundtable Talk Show, please visit my website at AskSharifah.com. Until tomorrow morning, everyone have a safe and a blessed day.